Why is it not letting me go live? Oh dear, this is a problem. So welcome. Trying to go live here. There seems to be good. All right, now I'm starting to go live, starting to see it. Go live button. Here we go. May take a few seconds. So welcome, it's the Light Lunch here on Wednesday afternoons with Elizabeth, Talk with ECM. Glad to see you here. I have that green thing again. Frustrating. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I have poor health again. Really sorry about that. Trying to do my best. But the main thing, the most important thing is I'm giving you valuable content, even if the colors are a little funky and off. So welcome. If you're listening live, hashtag live in the comments, listening on the repeat, hashtag repeat. And I'm glad to have you here. Today, our topic, we're going to be talking about the 5 main types of imposter syndrome, and not only what they are, but strategies you can use to change the game, right? What you can do about them, because just getting this information for information's sake is kind of silly. I want to show you how to kick imposter syndrome to the curb today. Let's do this. So if you want the notes, because, taking notes and remember everything, like, you don't need to do that. Just tag me in a comment, send me a private message. Let me know you want the notes, and I'll send you the notes from this whole session so you can focus on the listening part and getting the content that's of value for you. Now, are you ready to be seen? I have to check this and make sure. Oh, I'm getting a notification here. I'm going live in a couple different places. Maybe that's why I have that green line, huh? Isn't that weird? Oh, I have comments. I'm going to write comments, and I'm going to also be sharing links with you, things. So keep checking in the comment section, but I'll announce that. And yeah, I will be able to see your comments as well. Welcome. Glad to see you here. So let's dig in. Let's find out what this is all about. Right. So are you ready to be seen and recognized for the value that you offer? Or feel that rush, knowing that your words, your knowledge, your experience is being shared and actually making the world a better place? Yes, I want that. Because it's time to lift your confidence and show your inner critic who's boss. Hint, it's you. Because now is definitely not the time for you to be sitting on the sidelines and waiting for your turn. I want you to stand up, raise your voice, share your knowledge, share your experience with those around you, and start making an impact. But you might have a question. Who am I, and why should you listen to me? That's a great question. Hi, I'm Elizabeth from Talk with ECM, and I'm a verbal branding expert, showing busy professionals how to boost their leadership presence, attract attention, wow audiences, and this is key for today, kick imposter syndrome to the curb so that they can get to yes. So remember to connect with me on LinkedIn or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this for more updates and valuable resources to help you thrive. Because listen, all of the accomplishments, struggles, challenges, difficulties, everything you faced up till now and have overcome has led you to here, to this point today. And, how you choose to move forward, it's entirely up to you. Because many of us have experienced there are so many messages from our inner critics. And I assume that's why you're listening to this now. And the question is it imposter syndrome or not? And if it is, what does that mean? That's what we're here to find out. And I'll tell you, if this was easy, you would have figured this out a long time ago. And the good news is I'm here to remove all of that guesswork, all of that extra research and time so that you can activate your inner coach, your most successful you as the peak performer that you are. And today, as I said before, if you're just jumping in now, our topic is imposter syndrome. More specifically, how to assess and address which of the 5 main types of imposter syndrome hold you back. Because once you can figure this out, you are the best advocate for yourself. That's right. And I want to give you the tools so that you can do that. And in this session, I'm going to be digging deep into the topic of imposter syndrome, the fear of failure, and that dreaded Bookie Monster, analysis paralysis. Right? Plus, I have a diagnostic quiz. It's simple, it's clear, with really insightful results about the stuff holding you back from what you actually want. And the name of the quiz, I'm going to give you a link now. Moving it over here, just give that. I mean, I don't want you to jump away from the session and get distracted, but I want to give you the link so you have it. This link is actually a link to a couple different things. However you want to move forward, the diagnostic quiz is there for imposter syndrome. That's the, one second. Yeah. My notes are, what is happening here? So that's the diagnostic quiz to find out if you have one of the 5 main types of imposter syndrome, as well as specific strategies, what to do about it. It goes a little more personally than I'm able to do in a recorded session here. And hey, live, ding, ding, ding. So glad to see you now. You're coming in from Florida, so I know you got up early. High five for that. And with the link, this session actually is a companion event for my live practice session this Friday. Both are standalone events, but more powerful together because it's input today and practice on Friday to give your communication and your imposter syndrome that 1-2 punch. So on that link, the first tab is also a link so you can join me there for the live video call this Friday, and connect with me on LinkedIn for more updates and valuable resources. So let's dive in. Hey Roman, glad to see you here too. I shared the link. Can you hear me? I guess you can because you did the live hashtag. So thank you for that. So you're ready. You're here right now. Perfect timing for what is imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? So wait, let me just check one thing, little technical. Good, we are good. Here we go. What is imposter syndrome? Do you often feel like the work you do is not quite good enough? Or do you sometimes feel like you don't your colleagues, somehow you're different, you're not quite in the right professional position? Or maybe you just think, will they just think my hair's too fuzzy to take me seriously? That may have been a thought I've had in my life, just saying. But if you answered yes to something similar to these questions, you could be experiencing imposter syndrome. And it seems like everyone's talking about it. There's is a lot of buzz about it, but do you really have imposter syndrome, and what does it mean anyway? It's something that most of us can relate to when we hear about it or have experienced at one point or another in our lives. But what is it, and why does it feel so terrible? At the core, it's really about the fear of being found out. That's the terminology there, imposter, being found out. You're not really where you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be. You know, I recently heard a joke. Oh, 1 second here. A lot of things happening at once. I have to get better at all of this juggling. I'm excited to learn that, right? So I recently heard a joke that if you were to pass a note individually to each member of parliament or senate, depending on the government where you live, with the words, "You've been found out. Please leave the building immediately," there would be an overwhelming number of people standing up and rushing to get outside. Now, while this is meant to be a joke, there is an element of truth I want to tease out that's tucked in there. Because the higher we rise in success, the more we accomplish, the more we have to lose, right? And the stronger the tendency for imposter syndrome to kick in. So let's go through 5 quick key facts about imposter syndrome before I get into the 5 specific types. 1, imposter syndrome isn't actually a syndrome, it's a phenomenon, and it can affect your sense of self-worth, happiness, and growth, professional and personal growth. 2, imposter syndrome has an evil twin. As if it wasn't enough, right? It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. And it's sitting on the opposite side of the spectrum. And it's basically when someone completely overestimates their own skills, knowledge, or achievements. And many of us may have had a touch of this experience or these feelings when starting out with something new, like a new language, a new job, a new field. I'm talking about that initial rush of like, oh yeah, I totally got this. I got it. I felt this after my first lesson of Spanish class. No, not at all. But I did feel oddly confident. But that's a story for another day. Let's stick to imposter syndrome. So number 3, another quick fact, most people will struggle with these topics on and off in their life. So having a few insights to navigate these feelings or thoughts when they pop up will elevate you to a class of your own. And that's what I want for you. Number 4, usually working more and accomplishing more builds confidence, right? That's what we think. But with imposter syndrome, the opposite happens. The greater your position, the greater your list of accomplishments, the more you risk losing if you're found out. Hence the anxiety and nervousness and pressure. And number 5, the 5 quick facts about imposter syndrome is that having the tools to address these topics gives you the clarity to harness your accomplishments, to harness your strengths, and reach even greater heights in both your professional and personal life. So the key takeaway, almost everyone experiences feelings of imposter syndrome at one point or another. And you can not only rise above it, but I want to show you how to use it to fuel your success. So let's get started. We're going to jump right into the 5 types, and then I'll give you 5 strategies that specifically match each of the 5 types. So let's jump in. 1 second. Good. Let's jump in. And I have some images here because I like images. And yeah, I know that green stuff is there. What is that? But we're going to keep going anyway. So the image is right here. Number 1, let me get this lined up right there. Number 1 is the expert, and you're expected to know everything as an expert. You really love and value facts and knowledge. In fact, you expect yourself to know everything, and you feel ashamed when you don't. Sound familiar? This may be your type. And common phrases. I'm going to give you kind of a definition of each one and a few common phrases. Common phrases. I'll look like a fool if I don't know everything in my field. Like, I don't want anyone to know that. Or you might say something a little more sharp. Something like, if I were really competent, if I really knew what I was doing, I know the answer and I wouldn't feel so confused, right? This is our number 1 type, the expert. So listen to these, check with yourself, check in with your feelings. Is this resonating? Is it not? If you're feeling it resonate, go ahead and let me know. Tell me, I'm the expert, or I'm the whatever one it is, or that's me for sure, 100%. Can also have a mix. But let's go to number 2. Checking to make sure I'm lined up here. The soloist. The soloist. Isn't that a great image? The soloist here. This can be your imposter syndrome type, and I hope that's not coming at you inverted. So the soloist, so you believe, if you're a soloist, the soloists out there, you believe your work must be accomplished alone, hence the name. And you refuse to take credit for the work if you've received any kind of assistance. So basically, if you're part of a team or working with others, you'll deflect any of that credit, even though you were contributing to it as well. And for you, you really use a measuring stick that all real accomplishments must be done alone. Some common phrases you might be telling yourself is, if I were really good, I'd never need help. Or, I shouldn't be so dependent on others to succeed. These are kind of harsh things our soloists tell themselves. If that sounds familiar to you, if that's resonating, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about number 3, the natural genius. The natural genius. I love this image, this brain here. It's like you can do everything in all fields. In fact, that's what you tell yourself. You tell yourself that everything must be handled with ease. It's got to be easy and cool and confident. Otherwise, it's not a real talent. You know, this real talent, real accomplishment. It's tough. It's tough stuff. So our natural geniuses, they have this huge desire to be outstanding, but it must come naturally, quick and easy. Otherwise, they feel it's fake or they're forcing something. So these people tell themselves they have to get it right the first time. So no chance for practice or training or anything like that. They really have to excel right from the start. And if I were really competent, I wouldn't need corrections. Okay, this is a pretty tough standard to hold oneself against. Pretty tough, but this is what our soloists like to do. So let's move on. My phone keeps going to sleep. Wake up. Number 4. I love this picture. I really like all the images. That's why I prepared them. So we have here the natural genius. Oh, sorry. That's the one we just did. Superhero. Dun, da, da, da. Our superhero must excel at everything. I mean, superhero really just takes it to another level. So you can't just be human anymore. You have to be superhuman. And our superheroes feel that they should be able to excel at every single role they take on in their lives. So if it's at work, if it's in a community group or a hobby, sports, family, being the best sister and the best mom and the best everything they take on. If they're going to be knitting, they're going to be the best at it. So they have to excel at everything. They feel they have to excel at everything simultaneously. I'm getting stressed just thinking about it. Some common phrases our superheroes use is, I should always give my best at everything I do. Yeah, okay, that there's nothing so inherently wrong with any of these phrases, but it's, what do we define as your best? And to what extent do you have to go to deliver your best at everything you do? And another one, if I were really competent, I wouldn't have to work so hard. Yeah. This is a little similar to our natural genius, but this is our superhero, right? Some crossovers, some do have some overlaps here. Any of these resonating with you? Are you feeling any of these deep in your soul? We're almost through. And number five, and this one I think is going to get some, oops, sorry about that. This one's going to get some attention because it's the perfectionist. Yeah, the perfectionists. Our perfectionists are expected to meet impossibly high standards. Impossibly high standards. So let's look at our perfectionist definition. So as I said, our perfectionists, they set impossibly high standards for themselves and then beat themselves up when they don't actually reach them. So it's impossible to get there. And then when they don't get there, yeah, it's failure. And it's not only like one or the other time, but it's consistently meet those impossibly high standards. And some of the common phrases a perfectionist might use is, if I were really competent, I wouldn't make a mistake. I wouldn't get it wrong. Or I have to get this right before I take on something new. So really obsessing about getting it perfect to feel like it's a check or a check mark. Are, again, 5 main types of imposter syndrome. And these are according to Dr. Young, a leading expert in the subject. Are the 5 people to fall into that trap of feeling like an imposter? Was there one that felt like, yes, let me know in the comments? And again, I made a link. I gave a link in the comments that has the diagnostic quiz. So after we're finished here, you can take that quiz, get the results. And I'd love to know, where are you? Are you a combination of the two? Is there one that's 100% you? Let me know that. Now we are at 20 minutes. And I wanted to go through quickly some of the strategies. And it's a lot. It's a lot, but I said 20 to 30 minutes because I know you can do this and I want you to do this. You have the choice to respond to these messages and to activate your inner coach. And I want to give you just a few simple, actionable plans to work with you and strategically activate your inner coach so that you can start kicking imposter syndrome to the curb. Because once you know what it is, it's easier to unravel the great big mess that it's in. It's almost like a dreadlock of impossibility. So I would help you untangle that mess. So we're going to go through each of these 5 quickly with an idea of what to do. And this helps, especially if you already have in your mind which one you are. So number 1, the expert. If you're an expert, I'd like you to embrace your inner expert. I mean, it sounds counterintuitive, like, but no, I'm supposed to fight it. No, embrace it. Embrace it by mentoring junior colleagues or volunteering to mentor those who are further down the ladder than you. You're not useful to feel like, I'm not sure. But sharing this with others will help them as well as yourself as you guide them through the process. This is an excellent thing for our experts. The soloists, for our soloists, I challenge you to create your list of the greats, your personal list of who you think are the greats, the people you've from. This is not only to help you build appreciation for those who have supported you and getting acknowledgement of that, but also it strengthens your perspective skills down and not just generated from thin air, right? There is that community effect. It's a great step to start. Number 3, for our natural geniuses, natural ability is indeed the seed of success. I'd like you to take the time to learn about someone else that you admire and respect. Maybe you'll listen to a podcast or read their biography, however you choose. But appreciate, as you're listening to this and the content of their life and their personal story, you can appreciate that great achievement actually requires lifelong learning and enables people to reach even higher achievements. Number 4, our superheroes. Where are you, superheroes? So as a superhero, listen, you have a lot of strengths. It's amazing. You have a lot of strengths. And I want you to seek to strengthen one more strength, and that is your failure muscle. Your failure muscle? What are you talking about? Seriously, strengthen your failure muscle and engage in activities where you know you will fail. Something new, something strange, something you haven't tried before, or something you've been really poor at in the past. And let yourself fail at least a few times, at least the first few times. And by going through this process and strengthening your muscle to be at peace with this, you're reframing failure as part of the process and an opportunity to learn. And you can find value in the experience of learning and processing and growing rather than just beating yourself up about it. It's a challenge. I know you can do it. All right, our superheroes. And here we go, my phone again. I tell you. And number 5 are perfectionists. Are perfectionists. So again, I want you to embrace your strength. Accuracy can be your ally. Accuracy can be your ally. So I want you to document your progress. So not document your accomplishment, but document your progress to see how well you're actually doing, to see that progression. I've seen people use bullet journals and things to make a chain of a habit. And the longer that chain is, the bigger the sense of accomplishment and growth. And by tracking your own growth, try that again. By tracking your ongoing accomplishments, you can alleviate that feeling of failure, even if you don't reach those unachievable goals that you've set for yourself. So you already set this crazy goal, and when you miss it, you'll see you've come this far, even if you didn't get this far. That's a step. So these are mental shifts, strategies you can use, one for each of the 5 types. And again, this is just slicing the surface here. We're not going too deep because it's a 30-minute session. I'm really glad you're here. Thankful for the comments in the comment section. And the big question is, after we've gone through these strategies and the big question is, what's next? What is next? What does this all mean? So we have some strategies. We've been thinking about things. So I have a few questions. Tell me if this is you. You like what you see. These kind of ideas and thoughts are tickling little bits in your brain, but it doesn't quite fit your situation. Okay? Or maybe you found a few good insights in this session, but you want, scratch that, you need to know more. Is that you? Or maybe you'd love to get the results of kicking imposter syndrome to the curb. You know you could do better if you didn't have these messages bombarding you every time you try to move forward. But you don't really have the time or even want to dig into your deep, dark past. So comment below, let me know, take the quiz, the link is, and send me a private message. Let's continue this conversation. Let me know where you are, where you want to go, what's going on, what resonates, what doesn't quite feel right. I'd love to know. Let's talk about it. And as I said, you can tag me in a comment, send me a private message, ask for the notes, and do take the quiz. Take the quiz and let me know your results. So we're coming up on 28 minutes. So glad to see you all here. Thank you for your time. Again, I'm Elizabeth. This is the Light Lunch. I'm running these every Wednesday through the end of August. And comment, like, share. It means a lot to all of us. Share the value. Thank you, and have a great day.